when any question is given like this, where they are testing our understanding of Java programming also by giving questions. So this is how a normal way which we can expect a question. Then as a developer or as a programmer, what we have to think and which one we have to write first. I'm not answering for this question. I'm generalizing this situation. So here in first scenario, how many conditions we have to check? Only one condition. In second scenario, how many conditions you have to check? One only. In this third part, how many conditions you have to check? Two conditions at the same time. And the fourth one, no condition at all. So this goes to by default else block. When it comes to checking the conditions, if there are multiple conditions to check, two or more conditions, then that has to be the first block of condition block. That should be first if block, I mean to say. Then followed by its alternate can be one condition and one condition also. These two we can write any order because they both are of one condition only. But here it is a more than one condition. In some requirements, like some 3 and 5 and 7 will be given. Then there are 3. So that has to be first. Yeah. So the conclusion is order of conditional statements. Order of conditional statements. Conditional STMT I'm writing for statements is important or not. So the conclusion is yes, it is. We have to follow the order. Then what is the significance? Prefer. Prefer what? More number of conditions. More number of conditions as a first block. First mostly will be if block only. Then followed by then like less number of conditions as a second block and third block and all those things. So for example, if 3 conditions to be checked, then we have to write that as a first block. Then 2 conditions, for example, then it's followed by alternate block as a second block. Then if there is one condition, then go for the third block. And if 0 conditions, like else block, then go for last block. So this is how we have to give the prioritization. Am I clear? Yeah. So then followed by, I have given some questions to find the discount where a shopkeeper is selling every product for 100 rupees only. And if my total cost is 1000 rupees, some 10% discount is there. Like that, there is one question is there. Okay. So I'm taking just that an example to discuss about where do we exactly write, excuse me, these conditions. Should we write inside a method or not? That's my question. No. What's the purpose of a method? Methods are used to perform logical tasks. Then writing this condition block is a logical task or not? We are checking number divisible by 3 or not, 5 or not, 3 and 5 or not, then not 3, not 5. So that's a logical part or not? Or logical only. Therefore, we have to write this condition statement inside a method approach only. Just for practice, as of now, I didn't discuss anything method-based approach to understand condition statements, syntax and all those things. But actually, we have to write them in a method. So for that, let us take one requirement, the same requirement I'm going with. So write a Java program to print final cost. Final cost, I mean what the customer has to pay at the end. If a shopkeeper allows a discount of 10%, if total cost is more than 1000, not equal to, only more than 1000 rupees, where each product in the shop is 100 rupees. You buy anything, each product cost is rupees 100. Yeah, this is the question. For example, if you are buying 5 products, how much you have to pay? One product cost is 100 rupees. Then 5 products, 500. 10 products, 1000. 11 products. Yeah. 11 products means 1100, which is more than 10. Then we have to pay 1100 or we have to apply some discount. 10%. Yeah, so then that is the final cost. We have to print it. This is the requirement. So for this, let us go for a method-based approach. Where the methods will be there, they'll be declared inside a class. So first I'm taking one public class, some class name, say shop. Inside this class, declare a method. Declare a method. After discount, some final price. So since it is 10% only, we'll be having some rupees. There is no rupees and paisa because of our percentage. Sometimes if 10.5 is discount, then we have to go for float. Okay, I'm keeping it simple. Public is the access modifier. So for the time being, I'm going for void as a return type. Then get final cost is my method name. But I'm following the camel casing standards. What are the inputs to this? What inputs, if it is given, then we'll come to know the output. So on quantity means how many products the customer is purchasing. That's why int say q for quantity. Anything else is required? Nothing else is required because remaining things are fixed only. Only number of products are varying. So then followed by this is the method body. Then inside this, what is the logical part of it? First we have to find the total cost, correct or not? So I'm using total cost, C capital. Variable names also we have to follow camel casing standards. How to get total cost? The number of quantity and what's the product of each quantity? 100 rupees, which is fixed. That's why no variable, directly we can take the value. Then now quantity is number, 100 is also number. When we multiply, what's the result? Number only. Therefore, the total cost is a variable whose type is int. We must declare because it's previously not yet declared. The next, based on this total cost, we have to check some condition or not. Yes or no? Every time we have to apply discount or only greater than 1000? Only greater than 1000. That's why first if condition, what's the condition? If that total cost variable value is, so they said only more than, not more than and equal. That's why only greater than 1000. If this is true, we have to write some logic to print the total cost. Correct or not? But will this be true always? No. Therefore, there is alternate. Else part, what we should print? No discount means what we have to print? Total cost itself we have to print. Correct or not? So this else part, no discount. That's why I am printing the same total cost with same variable name called total cost only. So here, but in this, we have to apply some discount. Discount will be added to the total cost or discount will be taken away from total cost? Taken away. So what we should do? So how to apply discount? On the total cost amount. On the total cost, how much is discount? 10%. So therefore, into 10, then for this only by 100, we can use. Yes, that also we can use. So if 10% is discount, then 90% of total cost also we can use. That's a different way of writing the same program. So this is the only discount, correct or not? This is the only discount. Then we shall have to subtract this from where? Total cost. Correct or not? Yes or no? Then same thing can we use inside a print? Can we store into some variable and print it? Can we print directly also? See here, this is the result. Then I am storing into some variable called result. Which type? Int type. The next line what we should do? System.out.println, print that result variable. Then printing this one or printing this entire thing inside a print statement, both are same or not? Yeah. This entire thing, can we write directly system.out.println? Yes or no? Instead of storing into some variable, again printing that variable, can you write this approach? Both are same only, right? So if you are feeling directly as some difficulty, then you can catch into some variable and print it. Otherwise, directly also you can print it. So this is the method in which we are performing the logical task of the this real-time requirement. This will happen in general shops. Then how do we execute this? We know the story. So for that, take some class and inside this main method, then followed by inside this main method, what we should do? No, scanner is okay. You just implement later. Object creation, some shop S1 equals new shop. Then what's the object reference? S1. S1 dot method calling get final cost. What it is expecting? Some integer value. So for example, let me give 8. Can we catch it? Can we method is returning anything? It's a void type. Therefore, no return value. So no catching and no printing or no calling from print statement also. That's it. This is the end of main. This is the end of class. With this 8 input, when we execute, we'll get the output called as 800. Correct? If we give some different inputs, like for example, say 20. If 20 is input, what's output? For 20, so we are going to get the output as 20 into 100 is 2000. 2000, then 10% discount. How much? 1800 is the output we are going to get. Correct? Yeah, so that is how our logic will work. And here we can write directly with this print function. We can write like this, or we can write by using this result to store it into some variable, then print that variable also. Fine. Okay, so to avoid the confusion of understanding, I'm drawing. So this brown color also is allowed, or this green color and this print statement also allowed. Clear? So now your next task is, whenever you write the condition-based programs, write in a method-based approach only. Directly writing inside a main method is not at all recommended. Why? Because method's purpose is to you reuse the code or code reusability. Correct or not? So one person will create the object for your class and they access the method. They give their own number. Another person will give their own number. So for everybody, this is the logic. This is the logic. Everybody can use it. If you write inside a main method, then is it possible? No, main method is only to execute multiple other classes only. That's why a separate class with method approach only is recommended. Directly writing this entire logic inside a main method and just to execute is not recommended. Clear? No, not void. I'm just giving first example as void. Then we'll go for return type, the next complexity. Clear? Yeah. So this is the first part of it. Next, I'll take one more example. Here I'm using a void return type. Therefore, it is comfortable for us. Then if it is not void, if it is not void, then there is a if block, then there is a else block. We should add return statement inside if block, or we have to add inside else block, or we have to add in both, or we have to add outside the if and else blocks, where we have to add that return type. That's the next question. So for that, we'll go with next example. Next example. The next example, I'll make a question clear. No logic for this question, a bit, not much logic, so that we'll understand the return type importance. So I'll take a requirement of write a Java program to print day name based on day number. I mean, so for example, 0 means Sunday, 1 means Monday, like that, 7 means Saturday. So for example, if the number is 0, then output has to be some Sunday. You can start from anywhere in a cyclic order. If it is 1, then Monday. If it is 2, Tuesday. Like this. If it is 7, Saturday. If it is 8, invalid input. Or use only or enter only 0 to 7. So this is the requirement. Now for this, let us go for a method-based approach. Method-based approach. So left side, I'm taking that class, public, one independent class, public class, the class name, say week. This is my class name. Inside this class, what is the input for a method? Day number, which is integer. What's output? String. So therefore, what's return type? String. Correct? So based on that, public is access modifier. Then what's return type? String is return type. Then get day name is my method name. What it is takes input as input some DNO for day number. This is the input. Now immediately we'll get error because return type is value type, but no return statement. Correct? Now we have tried the logical part of it as with the conditions. Correct or not? What the first condition to start? If condition. If day number double equals to compare, if it is 0, then what we should write? We have to print Sunday or return Sunday. Return Sunday, right? That's why here I am using return statement. Return, then space. Sunday is a string kind of data. Directly we can return the value also. Correct or not? We can return a variable or we can return a value also. Yeah. Then what's alternate for this? If it is not 0. Else if what's the day number? 1. Then return what? Then return space double quotes Monday. Yeah. Then like this. How many we have to write? Else if day number double equals 7, then we have to write it as return Saturday, 7th one. Correct? Then what's next block? What's next block? Okay, 0 to 6, no? Okay, then we'll keep this as 6 only. This is 7. Correct? Yeah. Otherwise 1 to 7, then 8. Any which way is fine. Okay, I have started from 0, you're correct. Up to 6 only we'll get Saturday. Then what about the last block? Else block. Else block, right? So here the important point is when the method return type is a value type. Method return type is a value type. In every if block and else if block, adding return statement is mandatory. In every if block and else if block is mandatory. Okay. And finally, else block. Else block we can use or we can avoid also. But return statement at the last is mandatory. I repeat. So we have to add else block. Correct? So else is mandatory or not mandatory? If else syntax, else block is mandatory or optional? Minimum, maximum we discussed first class. Yeah. So else block is mandatory or optional is my question. Yeah, else is optional. Yeah. Else is not mandate to write it. I don't want to write this one. When somebody enters 7 or 8 or 10, they don't get any output. My program is not giving any wrong output, right? But for to give the clarity, for example, if you go to ATM and I want to withdraw some money, so it is asking us to enter some amount. Enter how much you want to withdraw. I'm entering 123 rupees. Is it possible? No, because ATM machine will not give 3 rupees, 20 rupees and all. Correct or not? So then, if it is not giving any output, if it is not giving any message, not giving the money also, what a user will do? He'll scratch his head. He'll confuse or not? Okay, my PIN is correct. I'm entering amount correct only. I have money in my account also. But still, why machine is not giving me money? Okay, if something is wrong, why machine is not giving any error message? So we will be confused, right? That's the reason we have to use the else block to convey correct message. So once we enter like this, what do we get? Enter multiples of only 100 or maybe 200, maybe 500 or maybe 2000 because these are the only available nodes a ATM machine can dispense or give us. Same way our program also is working for only 0 to 7. That's why we'll be using else block. Now my question is when we write else block and inside else block, we have to use return statement. Return, what's the return? Enter 0 to 6 only because our program is based on this 0 to 6 only. Correct or not? That's why we have to enter 0 to 6 only, then followed by semicolon. Yeah. So I said a statement that whether we are writing this else block with return statement or without this else block also, but we have tried the return statement. That's what I'm trying to convey. Enter 0 to 6 only. End of string, semicolon. With else block return statement or without else block return statement, both anything is fine. Anything is fine. But in if blocks, it's mandatory. Else block with return or without else block return statement, this is also mandatory. That's the difference from void type to the value type. Understood? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. We'll execute this. Now, how do you execute this program? Take one more class, main method, and create the object for this week class and call this method by passing the input as a day number. Correct? Yeah. So for this, I'll execute this through Eclipse. Please, any questions, any doubts? Ask me clearly. Is it return type, void type? Understood? Void type, no return statement. No, nothing inside if block with return statements, nothing in else block with return statements, only print statements. But if it's a value type, then we have to use return statement. Whether we use a print statement or not, it's optional. But return statement is mandatory, even in if block, else block, and all. Then here indirectly there is one more statement. One more thing is happening. In one method, how many return statements we can write? Did we write previously multiple times? In method concept, how many we wrote? Only one. But here inside this get day name method, how many return statements are there? Yeah, because only one block will be executed out of all these 7 blocks. That's why only one return statement will go. Multiple return statements will not go. Yeah. So when JVM executes, I recommend you to debug this program. Apply breakpoints and debug it. You'll understand more clearly what I'm talking about. So I'm back to Eclipse. Yeah, currently I'm in J2EE mode, so I'm changing this Java mode first. Then let's go to File, New, Java project. I'll name this project as some calendar. Then I click on finish. Then inside this, I'll create a package. I'll name this package as com.grads dot conditional statements is a concept. Conditional statements. Everything has to be in lowercase letters for package name. Then finish. Then right click on this package and go to create a class. First I'll create a class of week, which no need of any main method. Then inside the same package, I'll create a new class. So I'll name this as some test. So this is required for execution. I'll take this main method here. This process, I did bit fast. So first independent body, week.java. Inside this, what's our method? Public. What's the return type? Same programming going to write. String, then get a day name with naming standards, which takes one input. I'll take d for day. Otherwise, I have to type so much. Yeah. Then what's the first block? If condition, if the day is 0, then whatever we did, same thing I'm trying to do. The next what? Return a string value Monday, or we'll start from Sunday. Done. Is it satisfied? So previously, as long as we are adding this return statement, we are getting error at a different place. Now you observe, any return statement is there in this? No. So we are getting error. Now after adding return statement also, still the same error is there. Why? Because it's because of else block with return or without else block also written. That is also mandatory. Till that point of time, we'll keep on getting this error. Okay. Then what's alternate block? Else if, else space if, then the day value is 1. then next followed by return. Return what? Monday. Still we are getting there. So like this, we'll be writing all the blocks. I'm not writing. Then finally, okay, let me, I will not use return statement, else block. I'll use return statement. Return, enter 0 to 6 only. Now we observe error is there. No, this is what is the last important point when it comes to return type as a value type, only if block will not work. Then can we write this inside a else block also? Without else block, I have written this scenario. I'm following here, this scenario, correct? Now I would like to use this scenario also. Will it works? Yes, let us see. So I'll cut this from here. So because it is not there, now we are going to get error. Then what's the thing we have to add? Add else block. Inside this, put the same statement. Now the error is removed. So it means without else or with else, but return statement is at the end is mandatory. That's a point to be remembered. Most of the people will make a mistake in this. If a method with condition blocks having some return type, then this else block, most of the people will not understand why it is not working and all. Okay. So then after having this, so our program is working for only 0, 1 because I didn't add other conditions. So while executing also, I'll give those inputs only. And from this test class, what's our class name? Week is a class name. Then object reference equals new week, object creation. Then followed by w dot get day name, and I'm giving the input of 1. Yeah. Since return type is there, we can catch it by using some string variable only because return type is string type. Then we can print by using print statement of print yes. Now let me save control yes. Let me execute control F11. So we got the output as for 1 Monday. If it is 0, if it is 0, Sunday. Yes. Then if it is some other number like 9, there is no day for that. That's why we are going to get use or enter 0 to 6 only. Yeah. So that input you can use scanner class when you are practicing it. But this is the logical part of it. Clear? Especially the condition statements with value type. Clear, no? Yeah. So then the next part, I'll be giving some more challenging practice questions on these condition statements today. The next concept we will be discussing is how many types of condition statement that Java supports? 3 types. What second one? The ternary operator. Ternary conditions or ternary operator. Yeah. So in us, meaning of this ternary is 3. What are those 3? We'll understand with the syntax, then you'll come to know. Before that, the first question is, when we know if conditions, I mean if, else, if, nested and all those things, why we should learn one more condition statement? Why 3 are there in Java? Only if they can keep, no? Or only ternary they can keep, or only switch they can keep. Why there are 3? So each one has its own advantages and also disadvantages. Okay. So when it comes to ternary, out of these 3, this is the most logical operator. Because people will feel logic is challenging or logic is difficult, this is ignored actually. But it is most clever way of writing a program using condition statements is ternary only actually. Okay. When we should use? To replace if else statements. To replace if else statements, use ternary. Means what? Normally using if and else we are writing 2 blocks, 2 condition blocks. But with ternary we can write as a 1 block only. That's what the purpose of this ternary here. Then the second reason is ternary is faster. Ternary is faster in execution or faster in output compared to the if else only. I'm not saying series of if else statements. Please observe my statement clearly. I'm saying it's to replace if else only. Am I using if else if and else? No. Am I using any series of if else statements? No. So only to replace if else we have to use ternary. Yeah. Then before we go for how do we replace it? What is ternary syntax? Ternary syntax here is, so first parenthesis one expression, or let me write this condition. Parenthesis with one condition. When you write a condition, what type of results are there? For this condition, what type of results are there? It may be true or it may be false. So if this condition result is true, then execute this expression 1. Expression 1. Then if the condition is false, then colon is this operation. Then execute this expression 2. Expression 2. That's it. This is the ternary syntax. So this part will work if the condition result is true. This part will be executed if the condition result is false. Any other third possibility? No. That's why. So here 1 and here 2 and here 3, because it's a combination of 3, it's called as ternary. This is the syntax. Yeah. And when it comes to interview purpose, mostly we will not get any question on this interview, on ternary in your interviews. You will not get. If at all they may ask, they'll ask only one question, that write a Java program to print biggest of two numbers in one line of code. Biggest of two numbers in one line of code. That's where we are going to use the ternary operator. So for that, let us discuss the program. Yeah, that's the only question you can expect it. But I am suggesting if you practice more number of questions on this ternary, it is very easy actually. And you will be treated as more clever programmer compared to if you are using if else. Okay. So let me go for the requirement. Write a Java program in one line to print biggest of two numbers. Biggest of two different numbers. Again, if you ask me what about if they are same, that scenario is not there. So for printing biggest of two numbers, first we need to have two numbers. So let me take int x equals first value and int y equals second value. Yeah, what's ternary? First condition. What's the condition? If x is greater than y, question mark. If this is true, what's the conclusion? X is greater. Then in expression 1, in place of expression 1, I'm going to write system.out.println x is bigger or biggest. X is a variable and bigger is a statement which I'm adding to that. This is expression 1. Then if this is false, which is bigger? If this is false, which is bigger? Obviously. Therefore, colon is a separation as per the syntax. Now what's next expression? System.out.println. Okay, I'm sorry. So here first conclusion is x is bigger. Or second conclusion? Y is bigger. Correct or not? Y is bigger. That's it. Then how do you see the output? If you just write like this, do we get output? No, because no print statement, no output in Java. That's why system.out.println put inside a print statement and end with semicolon. That's all. This is one line of code. Yeah. So this is the example of a ternary. Clear? Clear. Did you write biggest of three numbers using if else? Then shall we discuss with ternary also? How do you write it? Yeah. Yeah, we'll discuss. With that, I will stop for the day.